Hey everybody, Eddie Komanek here at the Injoy workshop. I'm just working on a new run of steel wheels back here and thought I'd make a short video about what the steel wheel is, what it does, and how you can care for it, and if it needs to be sent in repair, what we can do for it. So the steel wheel is two stainless steel pans that are custom machined for Injoy lure coursing. Bolted together with a series of 16 1420 bolts. And then we've got a 5/8 hub that mounts to the motor shaft. And the theory is that the string is actually wedged in this channel right here, and it's the static friction that grabs that string and throws it whenever you hit the button. That's why it's important when you're lure operating not to just lean on it, because when you do, the string will slip on this wheel. And so every time you come off the button and hit the button again, that's when the wheel grabs the string and throws it again. So it's important you go pop, 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 pop when you're running the lure for dogs. So anyway, let's look at the mounting options that we have on a steel wheel. You've got a 1420 2-inch bolt that goes all the way through the hub. And this is typically for the end of the motor shaft. So it'll pass all the way through the shaft and then you bolt it closed. The other option is the 1¼ inch 5/16/18 bolt. And this is for the flat spots on some motors. So you can mount this wheel closer to the machine. Now you can do this with the continuous loop wheels, but you cannot do it with the take-up wheels. They're just too wide to mount closer to the machine. And I'll show you what that flat spot looks like on this reversible machine. So if you look here, you can see the through bolt at the very end. Then right here, we've got a flat spot on the shaft. So that allows the wheel to mount closer in. And what that ends up doing is saving the bearings a little bit on the motor, so you don't have as much torque on those bearings pulling from the end of the shaft and more towards the midline. Okay, so that's mounting. Now let's talk about care. To clean the wheels, typically what I use are Clorox or Lysol wipes. That gets a lot of the dirt and grime that builds up on this inner brace right here. You want to look down in this crease right here and make sure that there's no dirt or particles. Every now and then I'll see friction wearing in there from a really dirty, dusty environment where it starts kind of etching the metal. Make sure that's not happening. It's very hard to keep your string clean while it's running in the field, but just keep an eye on wear and tear there. These wheels should last 25, 30 years. I still see the red hub wheels out there every now and then, and those are very, very old, but they're still running lure coursing events. As far as other cleaning, if it gets oily on the stainless steel and you want that clean, acetone is a good option. I would recommend trying to keep the center hub oiled with WD-40 or something, just a protective coating of oil on it. And same thing on the inside of the shaft mounting hole. That'll keep rust from building up. This is cast iron, so that needs to be protected, but the stainless steel wheels and all the stainless steel bolts all the way around don't really need much. Now, I was talking earlier about failure of the wheels, and what will typically happen is if the line breaks, the lure operator's not paying attention, they build up a whole lot of string around this and the plates actually start spreading apart. So when that happens, you can kind of see in here as you're looking, yeah, there's a hole on that one. Somebody sent this in repair and I haven't gotten to it yet, but you can see how you can see the mounting bolts in that crease. When it is spread this much, this wheel is going to no longer grab the string and throw it. So it's just going to slip on the string. Whereas if you look at this crease, you won't see those mounting holes. That is a nice tight crease in there. So what we do when a wheel fails like this, we'll actually take it apart and then basically hammer it flat so that this crease closes back up. And then we'll put a plastic spacer. Let me see if I have one real quick I can show you. So this plastic spacer of about 1 inch thick, we can put between the two plates to widen that up a little bit and enclose that crease a little. We also use big fender washers, and we'll put that all the way around on both sides to increase the clamping ability. Now this is only for repaired wheels, so if you send a wheel in for repair to us, that's the way you're going to get it back. We'll clean up the hub, clean up the steel, pound it flat, put the spacer in, and put all the fender washers in and send it back to you. And the first repairs I did on that, I actually ran a lure coursing trial like for the whole weekend on repair wheels, and they ran great. So, and I talked about the friction that can etch the inside. And what happens with that is it will actually just hold onto the string and then loop it around and then start winding the string up. And that's because it's not properly releasing. So if that happens and you send it back for repair, we'll open it up and then just polish all the stainless steel around that wheel. Let's see, so that's repair. The other thing I guess to talk about is tension on the line. When you test for tension, you have to really get a feel for it, but you'll grab the string and then twist against your thumb and feel how much tension is really on that string. If the line is throwing over, then probably put a little bit more tension on it. If you're breaking the line a lot, a little bit less tension. There's a sweet spot for every lure coursing setup that you do where you have to figure out how much tension you need on that field. And it can vary. Like I've seen fields run very loose and it runs fine. And on my property with 2 machines set up, I have to have a whole lot of tension. So it really depends on your setup and your individual field and how much string you have out there. I guess there's not too much more to cover with this. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. All right, thank you all.